वर्तमान में प्रत्येक मनुष्य किसी न किसी दौड़ में शामिल है। फिर वो व्यापार में मुनाफा करने की दौड़ हो या रिश्तों में पूरापन। ऐसे में इच्छा अनुसार फल न मिल पाने पर मस्तिष्क नकारात्मक विचारों से भर जाता है। स्वयं की कई कमियां खामियां सामने आने लगती हैं। तो ऐसे में क्या किया जाए? हमारी शक्तियों, गुणों या स्ट्रेंथ्स का सफलता, विक्ट्री या विनिंग से गहरा संबंध है। इन स्ट्रेंथ्स को हम कैसे पहचानें, इन्हें सही आकार कैसे दें और ऐसा करते हुए विनिंग तक कैसे पहुंचें, ऐसे कई पहलुओं पर चर्चा करने आज हमारे साथ आज के की नोट स्पीकर स्वामी समर्पानंदा जी पधारे हैं, जो इफ यू कॉम्प्रोमाइज विथ योर स्ट्रेंथ यू विल ओनली बी लेफ्ट विथ द वीकनेस विषय पर एक टॉक प्रेजेंट करेंगे। आई वेलकम यू स्वामी जी। स्वामी जी के बारे में कुछ बताना चाहूंगी। Swami ji is a monk, teacher and writer and closely belongs to Ramakrishna Mission. He resides at Belur Mutt, Kolkata. He teaches ancient and modern scriptures at RKM Vivekananda University. His discourses are highly renowned, particularly on various subjects related to Vedanta and philosophy. While his students are spread all over India, he visits various institutes, including the IIMs, for learning sessions. Swamiji is also known for quite a lot of books on philosophy and spirituality. His famous books are Tia, which is a parrot's journey home, Pathik, a Hindi poetry book, Param, which is a story of modern times, and Jungle Zen Sheru, which is a story of loss of essence. His blog, Wait a Minute, is quite popular among the digital audiences. Among the admirers of his work are people like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who are driven by his writings. I welcome you, Swami ji. Swami ji, आपसे अनुरोध है कि अब टॉक की शुरुआत की जाए।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Namaskar. So, should I be speaking in English or Hindi? Which one would you prefer? हाँ? नहीं, मिक्स तो इंदौर के लोग खिचड़ी बहुत खाते हैं क्या? So, हाँ, आप लोग अंग्रेजी सभी समझते हैं ना? So let me speak in English and wherever needed I'll put it in Hindi. Just a few sentences. As I was introduced by, I must thank first of all Dr. Gurmeet Narangji, who very kindly invited me to deliver this talk second time. Earlier he had invited me to talk on mind and beyond, the world of mind and beyond. And thanks also to Sri Ravi Bafna ji and Dr. Hima Jaju, who also encouraged me a lot to come down. And it was nice meeting Pankaj ji. He spoke so beautifully and on such exalted topic. And I definitely thank all of you who kindly agreed to come to listen to someone who is practically unknown to all of you. And I'm not really an orator, not even a thinker, definitely not a philosopher. I have studied a few things, I've tried to understand a few things, and I try to put them in words, verbalize, and also write them down. And as I was introduced, those three books are there: Tia, Parrot's Journey Home, Param, Jungle Jen Sheru. Many of them have found these books quite interesting and entertaining, and also they find them inspiring. My subject is strength. Interestingly, all these three books talk about strength in different ways. To put it in very few words, Tia is about growing from strength to strength through a particular process. And then there is Param, story of a modern young man who is lost in the web world, and from there he gets down to exploring Indian spirituality. And he also grows from strength to strength, but in an entirely different process. And there is the third, Jungle Jen Sheru, who moves from strength to weakness and to more weakness in a different way. And Jungle Jen Sheru, He is a lion cub, and he doesn't want to know that he is a lion cub. Now, while describing the journey from strength to weakness, the analysis has been done of strength itself. So all these three books are essentially about strength. If you want to know the dynamics of strength, you read these books and you will get a fair idea about what strength is. But then, of course, that doesn't end the topic. Now, why I told I am not promoting my books. Quite often, even my brothers ask me, you must be making a lot of money. On the contrary, I have got a clear treaty, that agreement, that I will not accept any royalty. So I don't make any money out of it, and nor am I into promoting my books. Why I told you this is a funny side of it. One of my brother monks at Belumat, where I stay, he told me, Swamiji, no more Aham Brahmasmi, no more Aham Brahmasmi. You have already written 3 books, no more. Why write on the same topic again and again? I told, these writers, they can go on writing thousands and thousands of stories on love, starting from Heer Ranjha to Laila Majnu to Aur Kya Kya, and entire Hindi cinema is standing on that. And you know, there is a Spanish lady who holds the record of writing maximum number of novels in her life. You know how many novels she wrote in her lifetime? Imagine. I have written 3. Saab, aap kitni likhe? 2, 3. And this lady, Spanish lady, and she used to write only on love. Only on love. You know how many? 5,000. 5,000 books. She started writing when she was around 20, 21, and she died at the age of around 70 or 80. Recently she died, and then I read, my God, I couldn't believe, and then I checked and counter-checked and counter-checked, and I found she has actually written 5,000 books only on love stories. And most of those books have been translated into different languages, and she was a bestseller and this and that. And there was a time when Spanish dictator had banned her books. Even then she went on writing, imagine. Now on love, which is nothing, stupid thing, absolutely stupid thing, you can go on writing millions of books, and I can't write books on strength, 3 books and 5 books. But why write? Write on strength? Because you see, ultimately what happens, a man is 3-dimensional representation of the ideal, of some ideal. Each one of you, me, Pankajji, Dr. Gurmeet Narang is there, you, he, everybody, everyone in this world, he is a 3-dimensional representation of an idea. Just now, this brilliant boy, he played Bansuri. He was presenting an idea through a note, through a tune. When you paint, you are presenting an idea in 2 dimensions. When you are making a movie, you are doing the same thing. And you are using different mediums to present an idea. Human being is the highest, because till date, the number of dimensions that we know is 3. Although Einstein talks about 4 dimensions and all, but what we perceive is 3 dimensions. In string theory, of course, they go for a many more number of dimensions. But if an ideal can be represented in 3 dimensions, the best representation is a human being. And what is inside always comes outside. If you are weak, weakness comes out. If you are strong, strength comes out. If you are hankering for love, the desire for love comes out. And if you are full of love, you keep on pouring love, the way Buddha was. Interestingly, if you go through the writings of all the great works, philosophy, literature, or whatever it be, you will see that whatever that person represented, the ideal that he represented, that exactly is what comes out of him. For example, there was the great French philosopher come writer Voltaire. He wrote lots of books. He wrote fiction. He wrote philosophy. He wrote treatises. In every work you find, he is trying to talk about the insignificance of human being as compared to the cosmos. Cosmos is such a huge thing, and human being is such a puny, small, little being, and he is just gloating in his power. In what power? A man, he just thinks that he is big. He's trying to project himself as big. So Voltaire was trying to puncture that balloon of ego of every human being. If you read George Bernard Shaw, you will see that he's continuously running after the feeling that there is a superman inside everybody. It's a desire to be superman, to be super powerful. And he got that idea from famous philosopher Nietzsche. He also had that concept that ultimately man can become superman. And there's a very famous book by Nietzsche, Thus Spake Zarathustra, where he's talking about the philosophy of a superman. Similarly, if you come to Kabir Das, you come to Tulsi Das, you go to Mirabai, they're all representation of certain ideas. When it comes to Swami Vivekananda, you find that he is the representation of strength. He's continuously talking about strength, strength, strength. Strength to do what? To give up this small of yours, as Pankajji was talking, and be one with the great. You be one with the great, and all the weaknesses, all the shortcomings that you have, they just drop away from you. And he says, strength is life, weakness is death. An entire message of Swamiji, whichever work you pick up, when he's talking about Hinduism, when he's talking about India, when he's talking about innate divinity in a man, when he's writing letters, when he's conversing, whatever he's doing, you find one and only one thing, and that is strength, 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 nothing else. Ultimately, you will speak, you will write, you will do what is within you. Sri Ramakrishna used to take, if you take radish, मूली अगर खाएंगे तो डकार आपको मूली की ही निकलेगी. आपके अंदर जो है डकार वही निकलेगी. What is within you, that is what will come out. So I write these books. Somewhere I crave for strength. Somewhere I feel that strength. And I feel that it must come out. That's why I write. And really it's nice that Dr. Narang invited me to deliver this talk on about the essence of strength. Now what is this essence of strength that we need to talk? You will see that in recent times a new term has come in the Indian psyche known as space. Everyone is talking about space. People who go to work, they say that I'm not getting enough space. Young couples get married, लड़की बोलेगी मुझे स्पेस तो देता ही नहीं है जी. और अगर हस्बैंड स्पेस दे देगा तो बोलेगा मेरा तो केयर करता ही नहीं, कुछ पूछता ही नहीं है. Of course, there's a different issue. I am not going into it. You people know much better. You see, strength. Whenever you have strength, you feel as if you have expanded. You feel as if you need more space. And more space you have, more strength you have. You feel more joy. And you feel, that entire thing, the peace, the joy, strength, space, these are one and the same thing. Best you can understand, this is a very easy way to understand it. Imagine a small bird. It is kept in a cage. It's happy there. Slowly, the wingspan of that bird keeps increasing. It needs a larger space. You can give it space. You may not. The moment you give space, its wing spreads and it feels happy. It feels joy. And then you give a larger space and a larger space. And finally you leave it to the open sky. And that is where its wings spread fully. And that is when its strength comes out. That is when it gets peace. That is when it gets joy. These are all one and the same thing. There is absolutely no difference between strength, peace, joy, etc. Now, there are certain very interesting things about this strength. Somehow I have been thinking a lot on these things for past many years. The best strength that is given to a person is to a kid. A baby, when he is born, he gets maximum space because mother's love is the best space that any person can ever get other than God-realized persons. Mother gives that baby all the space. And baby feels free. Baby feels strong. Baby feels joy. He feels at peace when he is in the arms of his mother. As he keeps on growing, he feels that his strength, a different kind of strength is growing. And then he needs his friends. And then he needs his wife. Then he needs self-actualization. And slowly, slowly now it's a different kind of strength that he needs. If you try to cramp him, he slowly feels squeezed. His strength goes down. His space becomes terribly cramped and he starts craving for freedom. Surprisingly, in this world, nobody gives you freedom. Why should I give you freedom? Nobody gives you freedom. Nobody will allow you strength. Nobody will allow you space. It has to be carved out. It has to be taken. Space has to be made. Strength has to be made. How to get that strength? That's the topic. The meaning of strength and winning. True strength and winning. Now, surprisingly, see, most of these talkers, particularly who are talking about positive thinking and positive power and positive this, as if there is something negative. There is nothing called negative, there is nothing called positive. It's all American term, and we Indians, we are, great parrots. America वहाँ छींकेगा तो हम लोग को यहाँ बुखार लगता है. They pick up some idea and we start parroting those things here. Strength never comes from outside. Weakness comes from outside. It's a very important statement. I hardly find people talking about it. Strength never comes from outside. It is the weakness that comes from outside. You are full of strength. You are actually full of strength. It is weakness. And weakness comes in different forms. And the worst form is when you get attached to the smaller things. The more small a thing is, more cramped you feel. Nobody, there is no power in this world. Look at the entire human history and you will find that everyone whom we worship, be he a writer, be he a conqueror, be whatever he might be, nobody gave strength to anyone. All the strength came from within. We shall be talking more about it, how these things really develop. Now, this idea has best been portrayed in Valmiki Ramayana when Hanuman has all the strength. Mahavir Hanuman has all the strength. Later on from Valmiki, others picked up the idea and Tulsidas and others have built upon it. But the best portrayal is in Valmiki Ramayana, where Mahavir Hanuman completely forgets his power. Now he has to make that huge jump across the ocean. Now we are not getting into the idea that whether or not he actually jumped or not, because Valmiki was not a chronicler, he was a poet. And poet always has the liberty to make things look larger than it actually is. अभी तो कवि है ना? हाँ? अतिशयोक्ति अलंकार का कभी प्रयोग किया है आपने? करेंगे ही. In fact, Valmiki defines it. कवि means अतिशयोक्ति अलंकार. बढ़ा चढ़ा के बोलना. अगर बढ़ा चढ़ा के नहीं बोल सकते हैं, तो कौन आपको पढ़ने जाएगा? घर में दुख तो सभी को है, घर में प्यार सभी को है. पैसा देके लोग सिनेमा देखने क्यों जाते हैं? क्योंकि रोना को वहां बढ़ा करके दिखाया जाता है, हंसने को बढ़ा करके दिखाया जाता है. और लोग जब प्यार करते हैं पेड़ के चारों ओर घूम घूम के प्यार करते हैं. आप लोगों ने कभी किया है ऐसा? I doubt. Because you see, creation is all about Atishayukti. So was Valmiki and so was Tulsidas. These things should not be taken literally. It's all about the idea that all strength is within you and you tend to forget it. You don't want to exert it. You don't want to express it. And when the other companions who were with Mahavir and Hanuman reminded, all strength is within you. You have this strength. Jump. And then he jumps. And when his roaring strength comes out, the description in Valmiki Ramayana is that hill on which he was standing, it started quaking. And the creatures within it, they felt as if a huge earthquake has come. And he describes beautifully the huge snakes that were within. And nobody has seen those snakes out. They came screaming out. And they looked like a large number of flags is wavering in air. That's the description Valmiki uses about the strength of Mahavir Hanuman. He's just pressing the mountain with his feet, and that strength comes. Actually, every human being has that same kind of strength. That same power is there. But what we do is we identify ourselves with this, that, and over the years, over the births, we are Hindus, we believe in rebirths. Over the births, we keep on forgetting what our true nature is. We keep on forgetting what our true strength is. And we love being small. But that is where religion comes into play. That is where spirituality comes into play. The best example that we find, the practical example is that strength is there. He goes out with strength, forgets, and becomes completely a complete weak person, a coward, and then strength returns. That is in Mahabharata war, when Arjun went to fight the war, and for whatever reason, he lost his essence. Strength is your essence. Knowledge is essence. Freedom is essence. And Arjun forgot all those things. And Sri Krishna was surprised. You know, there's a huge misconception amongst many who do not study Gita properly. Many think that Sri Krishna goaded Arjun to fight the war. No, he never. Arjun had gone to fight the war, and weakness overcame him. Slight difference between Arjun and us is that weakness came for a short time in his life. In our life, it is a weakness which is always there. Strength comes once in a while. बीवी के साथ झगड़ा करने के समय बीच-बीच में शक्ति थोड़ी जागती है. क्या नारायण साहब, am I correct? I should be talking about these things in public, isn't it? But this is the fact. But usually you don't have that strength. Arjuna always had the strength, but weakness came for a very short while. But ultimately the rule remains. And what Sri Krishna did was, he says, Klebhyamasmagama partha naitatvayupapadyate. Don't yield to unmanliness. There's manliness. There's that human nature. Human nature is of strong. Why are you becoming unmanly? Why are you becoming a cleave? Why are you becoming the third gender? Why? Express your manliness. Get up and fight. He's not asking to get up and fight. He says be established in Swadharma. But just by telling that, did Arjun get the power? No, he didn't. He refused to fight. He says, I am taking shelter at your feet. Tell me what to do. And what Sri Krishna did, that is the real way to get back to your original thing. So whenever you are reading about how to get this strength, how to get that, no, they don't work. Strength always comes from within. It is the weakness that comes from outside. How to get rid of that weakness? Whenever you're talking about winning, whenever you're talking about strength, you're not talking about getting something from outside. It is stopping the inflow of the sewerage in your, say, water tank. You have a beautiful water tank, and somehow there is some kind of leak from where the dirty water is seeping in. That has to be stopped. How do you stop it? What Sri Krishna did was, he placed before Arjun the philosophy of life. What is the philosophy of life? He placed. And he placed three ideals before Arjun. He said, look, of course, Gita doesn't talk in such detail, only the shlokas are there, and if you read it with commentaries, the ideas become clear. He says, look, you have to have a philosophy of life. I tell you, friends, I've been teaching at IITs, I've been taking classes regularly at IIM, and I have been interacting with the learned. Everywhere I find one and only one problem. Indians, at least, have no philosophy of life, and that is why India is suffering. If India doesn't have strength today, if you are screaming in fear, if you are screaming with cowardice, the only reason is you don't have a philosophy of life. Have a philosophy of life, nobody can squeeze you. What is your philosophy of life? Nothing. Dissipation is the only philosophy of life that each one of us practice. What is the philosophy of life? Sri Krishna was straight. He says there are only three outcomes. First is you are born and your birth is accidental. For example, science is today talking about Big Bang. What is Big Bang? Even scientists don't understand. They are just making lots of money through project work and all those theories. Ultimately, everybody has to make money. The idea is in Big Bang, there is an explosion, there is matter, they combine, recombine, whatever that might mean, and ultimately there is some kind of such combination that genetic evolution begins. That means my birth, your birth is accidental. Fair enough, nothing wrong with it. He says, Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidhana neva tatraka paridevana. You would think that Gita is all about religion. No, Gita is talking most materialistic philosophy. It says, Avyaktadini bhutani. Before you were born, you were not there. After you die, you will not be there. Why worry about these 60-70 years that you are here on this earth? अगर आपने जन्म लिया है, ये चांस है, कैसे कैसे क्या हुआ पता नहीं. And life is a one-time affair, as most materialists believe. After a few years, you will be gone forever. Once the lamp is puffed away, it is blown away. That lamp is gone. Why bother for 70, 80 years? Live the life. Live the life of what? Of a king, of a lion. Why keep on suffering? Marna hi hai, mar jao. How does it matter? That means, even if you take the materialistic outlook, you should never feel weak. You were born, you will die. Second, he takes up the traditional Indian view of religion. He says, Jatasya dhruvor mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. If you take that आपके शरीर के अंदर आत्मा है और ये आत्मा शरीर के बाद शरीर धारण करती है. That means once you die, you will be born again. And once you are born, you will die again. So why bother? Even if you die, so why bother? Stay established in your dharma. And then he comes up with the third philosophy of life, which actually is the philosophy of Gita, where he is talking about the true nature of self, where he says कि आत्मा का न तो जन्म होता है, आत्मा न कभी मरता है. It is only the external. It is only the external that keep coming in front of it and going away. Now the thing is, you have to be established on one of these theories. Either you take the materialistic view, or you take the very orthodox Hindu view, or you take the Vedantic view. Whatever view you take, life and death become immaterial. If life and death become immaterial, what are you scared of? If life and death are material, why are you trying to cling to something very small? Think big. Go for the big. What stops you? Nothing. There is nothing that can stop you. Now you see, you might say that these ideas about Vedant and religion, they are outdated ideas. कहाँ स्वामी जी लोग लेक्चर देते हैं, बोलते हैं हम ब्रह्मस्मि और सच्चिदानंद, उसमें स्वामी जी लोगों को लाभ होता है, कुछ प्रणामी मिल जाता है, लोगों को अच्छा होता है, थोड़ा स्पिरिचुअल एंटरटेनमेंट हो जाता है. ये सब बातें प्रैक्टिस करने की थोड़ी ही होती हैं. There is a very popular Bengali story. There was an elderly lady. She used to go to listen to Bhagavad talk every day. One day it so happened that she could not go, and she sent her daughter-in-law. So daughter-in-law, she went, and Bhagavatam was talking about ahimsa, ahimsa, ahimsa. She returned and she prepared some fish and all, Bengal, you know. So the cat came and took the fish away. At the time of eating, this mother-in-law asks, "Where is the fish?" Daughter-in-law says, "I had gone to listen to Bhagavatam. I came. The Guruji taught ahimsa, and the cat came. So I did not want to scare it away. I did not want to beat it. I was practicing ahimsa. So that cat has taken away the fish." So mother-in-law was furious. She says, "I've been listening to Bhagavad for last 40 years, and I never brought Bhagavad inside my house. And in one day you have brought Bhagavad inside my house. Whenever you come, you keep it outside the house. Don't bring it inside." So you see, it is that kind of religion we listen to. It's that kind of spirituality we want to practice. जब तक सुनते हैं तब तक ठीक है. It's perfect spiritual entertainment. थोड़ा प्रणामी दो, clapping दे दो, and the matter ends there. Don't put it into practice. Okay, fine. If you look at the modern day trends, and if you look at your life, you feel that there are ways you can organize your life. And you'll find that a man who has some kind of ideal, howsoever degraded, that person always gets in news and he always succeeds. This topic of talk everywhere is now the four ideals, which I call Vidya, Sampad, Seva and Tyag. When you look at the way of life, you find that ultimately a person goes all out for knowledge. Whatever kind of knowledge it be, it does not matter. It might be the knowledge to make guns. It might be the knowledge of spirituality. It might be the knowledge of poetry. It might be knowledge of any kind, doesn't matter. Go all out for it. Dedicate yourselves completely. I want knowledge. That means money does not matter. Creature comfort does not matter. Name and fame does not matter. I am going all out in the pursuit of knowledge. Second is create wealth for the society or the nation. Create wealth, sampad, not for yourself. Because you see, as I told you earlier, when you look at one of the three philosophies, you do not matter. And once you create sampad for the society or the nation, it will automatically come to you. Here we are talking about strength. We are not talking about the ordinary people. Those who are ordinary, as साहब ने जैसे बतलाया, जो सोए सोते ही रहेंगे, जो जगह जगह ही रहेंगे, is the in between, is the fence sitters about whom we are talking. Do you want to express your strength or not? Do you want to assert yourself or not? If yes, well, then this talk is meant for you. If not, then it's not meant for you. So go to create wealth for the nation, for the society. In the audience, I have my friend Sri Ravi Bafnaji. I love him so much because I find that he's an industrialist. He makes money, and he always makes sure that that money is rotated in the society. He's not earning it for himself. He's creating wealth for the society. Create wealth for the society, and you will see that you are at peace, you are strong, and people come to you for succor, peace, and support. Third is seva. If you cannot establish yourself either in vidya or sampad, then go all out to serve. Serve, serve. A doctor is there. And many of you, I am told that most of you are doctors present here. What exactly you are living for? Patients come to you, you prescribe, you get your fees, and some of you might even take something cuts from the MRs and from the companies. At least that is what we read in newspapers. I don't say everybody. But what are you doing for yourself? Getting a lot of wealth. What do you do with that wealth? Most of your wealth after your death will go to somebody who will squander it away, or you will give it to some ashram, some Babaji, and most Babajis are frauds. There is no doubt about it. And see, there is a very interesting story I love telling everybody. On the banks of Ganga in Kolkata, one Sethji was donating money, and there was a huge crowd screaming for money. Sethji, paisa do, paisa do. And there was a small kid. He was also screaming, paisa do, paisa do. And as the luck would have, a rupee coin fell in his hand. He took that money, threw in the Ganga, and again started screaming, paisa do, paisa do. Exactly this is what you people are doing. Patients say, paisa luto, paisa luto. And then what do you do with that money? Put it in the bank. Are you making any use of that money? In most cases, income tax will le jayenge, income tax wale raid karenge and things like that. And when you collect lot of money, विदेश जाते हैं, foreign exchange में उसका पैसा भी कम हो जाता है. You go squander all money, put the money in Ganga, come back and start screaming, paisa luto, paisa luto. What are you doing for yourself? Nothing. Are you a better person? Have you gained knowledge? No. Have you created wealth for the nation? No. Are you serving the patients? No. Every doctor I have met tells, स्वामी जी, आप जैसे समाज की सेवा करते हैं, वैसे ही तो मैं भी सेवा करता हूँ. मैं बोलता हूँ हमेशा, my stock replies, only difference is, you are लाखपति and I am खाकपति. I don't have a single pie with me, सेवा करते करते, और आप ऐसा सेवा करते हैं कि आपके कितने अकाउंट में कितने लाख हैं भगवान जाने. मैंने लाख तो पहले बोलता था, अब करोड़ में चला गया है. See what kind of seva you are doing. Just see, my favorite, I keep telling that is a very interesting story about today itself. I read Nokia company is gone out of business. The Nokia company, it grew up in Finland. And there is a story about during the Second World War that Russians had advanced to capture Finland, and Finland had no way to oppose that. So the government took the policy of scorched earth, to burn down everything. And there was an elderly widow staying alone in the house, and she was told that for the nation you have to sacrifice this house, you have to burn it down. She told, okay, come next day. And people thought that probably she's too attached to this house, and that's why she doesn't want to burn it. Next day when volunteers went, they found that the whole house was cleaned, spick and span, absolutely clean, wonderfully. In the center there was a table, there was firewood, a matchbox, and a note. I am dedicating this house to my country. I cannot leave it unclean. Here is the polished house. Now burn it down. See, this is seva. Do you have that conviction? Do you have that feeling That everybody who is walking down the road is your brother, he's your own self, and that everybody has to be old? No, you don't. But that is the reason why you don't have strength. And last is tyag, which is not meant for you people, it is meant for us. That you have to be established in complete renunciation, no identification of any kind. Now, coming down to the ideas of strength, the weaknesses that we get, you will see that there are weaknesses and the reverse of its strength of 4 kinds. The first is physical weakness, physical strength. Now, to build up physical strength, most of you are medicos, you know how physical strength is built, and you tell patients how to build their strength. And then of course there are other methods. But more than the physical strength, sometimes we come across people who suffer an emotional loss, and despite good health, they find the strength lacking in them. And best thing is seen, a kid, small kid, if you put him into a residential school, he suddenly feels sapped of strength because that love of parents is missing. So whenever you feel that there is some kind of lack of strength within you, check. Are you at a loss emotionally? Try to focus on your emotional supports. Keep a list of persons who love you, on whom you depend. Interact with them and talk to them, be with them, and you will see that slowly your emotional strength is building up. When the emotional strength builds up, it takes care of physical strength, and even if there is physical infirmity, it takes care. Now supposing there is a severe emotional loss, there is a young beautiful lady, she lost her husband, she lost her love. What should she do? Because now she is under emotional mess, and because of the emotional mess, she is now bedridden, she can't get up. What to do about her? There is one way, take to a psychiatrist, put some medicines. Yeah, it definitely works, no doubt about it, because ultimately it's about chemical imbalance, and those medicines do work wonders. I have myself seen how they work wonder. But for you people who are listening, the third highest rate is moral strength. If you keep on telling that, look, whatever might have happened to you emotionally, you have not done anything morally wrong. And moral force, moral strength is a tremendous force. Like Socrates, he was preaching to the young, and people of Athens, the elders of Athens decided that he has to be killed, and poison was offered. And Plato and others, they planned an escape for him. He said, no, I am established in morality. I have preached this idea. I am not going to make any compromise. This is moral strength. The moral strength that gives you victory over even death. As Socrates was, he didn't care. And when hemlock was offered, the poison was offered, he just drank it coolly. This is strength. And supposing you have done things morally wrong too, we keep on doing, sometimes there are transgressions we make. Then one has to take recourse to spiritual strength. Spiritual strength is the ultimate. If you are feeling weak, if you are feeling that you don't have strength, you don't feel the will to live, you are suicidal, look for the emotional strength. You find you have nobody around you, look for the moral strength. If you have made moral compromises also, if you are condemned by the world, nobody is around you, nobody to take care of you, ultimately take shelter with yourself, Atman, with God, pray. And supposing you say, I don't believe in God, then nothing, you don't have to believe in God, just make mechanical prayers. You don't want to make mechanical prayers, then somebody on your behalf, like moms, what they do is, they keep on praying on behalf of their kids. Even that works. Slowly, slowly, slowly you will see that the spiritual strength slowly starts seeping in. I know a real incident about it. There was one gentleman, his whole intestine had practically rotten up, and he had gone to our hospital in Varanasi. And there was a very famous monk who was famous for curing even the worst cases. So that he was taken to a doctor, and the doctor said, I give him 7 days to survive. It's all over. Now this Swamiji, what he did was, he put a glass tube inside his stomach and started giving him just a few drops of milk, and told him, you just keep on telling Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It was in Kasi. and he keeps screaming whole day. And now this person he cared for his life. Whole day and night he was screaming, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And he did not die after 7 days. Then slowly, little more milk was given, then that rice and milk. And after 6 months, this patient was taken. It's a incident. All people who were connected with it themselves have told me. There's no lies about it. So after 6 months, he was taken to a doctor. Doctor, see how is the patient? He said, fine, perfect. So what's his problem? He said, he's the same patient about whom we had told 6 months ago that he's over. Then doctor folded his hands and says, Swamiji, only you can do it. Nobody else can do it. This patient was a goner. You see how that spiritual strength, it sounds like miracle. Maybe it's a miracle. You might have 1,000 explanations to it. Maybe. But I know this much. Doctor had given him up for good. And that Swamiji put a glass tube, asked him to do Om Namah Shivaya. Will it work on every case? No, I don't know. But I know of one particular case where it worked. So even when you are completely goner, you don't have faith in God, it doesn't matter. Just keep on screaming. Because you see, there is no God outside. There is no God who is clicking computers on the top and making your hands move. Whoever is inside you. He who is inside you is outside. And he who is inside and outside pervades the entire thing. When you pray to that God, you are praying here. When you are praying here, you are praying Him. It doesn't matter whether it is mechanical or it is real. It's all the same. It's the sincerity that counts. Now, if you come down to more practical state apart from these four states, four types of energy that I told, my time is nearing. So I'll just quickly say that as I told you in the beginning, strength is your essence. Strength is within. It's the weakness that comes. So how to win? How to have that strength? The Sanskrit term for it is pratyahar, withdrawal. Learn to withdraw. Everything that makes you weak, everything that makes you shed tears, everything that makes you feel small, just get out of it. Once and for all, be ruthless. If you are not ruthless, well, tears is your destiny, as I have described in Jungle and Sheru. Give it up, as Pankajji was telling. Be it past, be it future. If you feel it's making you weak, just get rid of it. Withdrawal of every kind, physical withdrawal, mental withdrawal, spiritual withdrawal. In every sense, it has to be withdrawal, withdrawal, and withdrawal. So, unless you learn to withdraw, strength can never come. Because strength is already within. It is covered badly. Withdrawal means taking away those coverings. And on the positive side, there is a second point which all of us must know. It is importance of Shraddha in life. Shraddha is variously translated as faith. It is also translated as respect. When it comes to oneself, it is faith. Always have faith in yourself. Yes, I can do it. But is it possible that you can do it? Yes, you can do it. Can you move the Himalayas? Yes, you can. Have you ever seen anybody making Himalaya move? Well, this is a very interesting thing. When I became a monk some 35 years ago. I was hardly 20 at that time. So when I used to read those things, I used to find fascinating. Swami Vivekananda is talking about this kind of strength, that kind of strength. Is it really true? Then I realized, no, they're actually true. Because you see, your true nature is Satchidananda, as Sir was telling, Shivam. We want to be happy. Happiness and joy, it's in our nature. Look at a child. He's always happy when he's in mother's arm. And you feel joy about what you are aware of. When a child is aware of his mother, he feels happy. It's awareness that brings happiness. And you are always aware of things that are true, that exist. That which exists is known as Sat. And Sat, you become aware of Sat, that exists. And things that you become aware of, that gives you joy. This is known as Satchidanandam, God. Your true nature is Sat, your true nature is Chit, your true nature is Anandam. So actually all power is within you. If you cannot move the Himalaya, even God cannot move. What God can do, you too can do. This faith, there is nothing in this world, there is nothing. Actually, this is physically true. When I was young, or when my mindset was like most of you, I also used to wonder, is it possible? No, no, I don't wonder. I know there is no subject in this world which I cannot master if I want to. It's a different thing that now I am no more interested. When I was interested, उस समय तो हर परीक्षा में मैं fail करता था. And now that I have got the power, I am no more interested in passing. That's the irony of, but I got the strength now. And second is, this sense of confidence, it comes powerfully when you start respecting others. Not in a fake way, in a true way. Because if you are Satchidanandam, others are also. My favorite example about this is, once I was traveling through Bihar and I asked my driver, tell me, what is the biggest problem of Bihar? Like poverty, this, that. I was sent to work in Bihar. That driver says, Swamiji, teach Biharis to respect others. That is their worst problem. They don't know how to respect others. And suddenly whole thing flashed. And I wrote in Sheru, those who do not respect others do not have respect for themselves. And those who do not have respect for themselves, they can never succeed in life. They can never be at peace. They can never enjoy life. To have strength, you have to respect yourself. To respect yourself, you have to respect others. These are all linked. And unless you have strength, you cannot have space. Unless you have space, you cannot be at peace. You cannot have joy. They are all linked up. So after this talk now, slowly now that we are nearing our end, how do you know that you are growing in strength? How do you know that you are strong? Because you see, most teenagers feel that they have all the strength. And if you see them sitting on a motorbike and cruising at a speed of 100 or 120 kilometers, he feels on the top of the world. Is he really on top of the world? No. There are certain signs whether or not he is strong. The most important thing is about strength is power to grasp anything comes. Power to grasp any talk, any book, anything, any situation. Because strength and medha, they are related. Medha means intellect. Medha is defined as grahana dharan samarthyam, the power to grasp and the power to retain. If you have strength, you will see that all the world leaders, irrespective of in what field they were leaders, they had a tremendous power to grasp and to retain. It's known as grahana, to grasp, dharan, to retain. A person is strong or not, you will see whether or not he can take in the situation instantly. There's a sign of intelligence. And every strong person is highly intelligent. Second, a very important thing, of course there are many things, but just let me give outline. Second is non-aggression. There will never be aggression. There's a very interesting discussion between Yudhishthira and Draupadi when they were in the forest for 12 years. And Draupadi was instigating Yudhishthira to attack Duryodhan to finish him off. And Yudhishthira says, quite often people mistake anger for strength, aggression for strength. No, that is not strength. Aggression is never a sign of strength. If you find that there is aggressiveness in somebody, if you find that there is some kind of anger within him, know that this person is weak. He is not strong. Once I had read somewhere, there was a very famous martial art expert. He was either karate or judo expert. And he was considered to be the best in the world. Like Bruce Lee became very famous because of his films, but this gentleman was also very famous. So his friend had described this incident that once these two had gone to some hotel for dinner. And during a talk, this karate expert says, very calmly, without stirring from this chair, without moving from this chair, just by moving my hand, sitting in this chair, I can kill you in 6 different ways. Imagine. So it's just by sitting here, without moving my body, just by moving my hand, I can kill you in 6 different ways. And that gentleman writes, a chill of fear went down my spine. He was not threatening him. He was just casually telling him, you know, I can kill you in 6 different ways without moving my limb. So, does that gentleman go on killing his wife at home? No, he doesn't. Give a toy gun to a kid. He goes on firing here and there. Does the commando go on using that gun? No, he doesn't. And give it to a jihadi and see what's happening all around. They don't have strength. Because strength and restraint, they go hand in hand. And the last thing is acceptance. Spirituality means acceptance. Acceptance is spirituality. Acceptance is the highest state that a person can ever attain to. In our Upanishads it says, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. I belong to Ramakrishna Mission. In Ramakrishna Mission, we worship Sri Ramakrishna and his divine consort, Sri Sarada Devi. And Sri Sarada Devi, before she gave up her body, she had told one of her disciples, if you want peace in life, don't see fault in others. Not seeing fault in others means acceptance. Whatever is acceptance. And I found a practical application of this recently when there was that attack in Mumbai Taj by the Pakistani jihadists. There was a devotee of Ramakrishna Mission and he was badly tortured by those jihadis. Elderly gentleman, and throughout he kept on reminding himself, if you want peace, don't look at the fault. And those people are torturing him, that elderly gentleman. He never carried any anger towards them. And the writer who has written it, he mentions this. He was a devotee of the Ramakrishna Mission. And he says acceptance is spirituality. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, they're all form of that same God. They're form of that same reality. Or in whatever be your philosophy of life, it doesn't matter. It is manifestation of that philosophy itself. And the more acceptance you have, acceptance is a sadhana. More acceptance you have, more strength you get. But acceptance is also a way of testing. You want to test a monk? Just look how well he accepts everybody. There's a very interesting Zen story about it. I loved it. That there was a monk. He went to a village. He wanted to do sadhana. Then there was a rich elderly lady. She had a cottage built for her. I said, you do sadhana here. After 10-15 years, she wanted to check how well this monk is progressing. Then she sent one, that village girl of ill repute, to tempt this monk. So she went and sat in his lap and started tempting him. And this monk threw her out. Get out! Get out from here! Don't try to tempt me. So that girl went and told that elderly lady, see, that monk has thrown me out. And this elderly lady was so furious. What? This rascal whom I have been feeding for so many years, after so many years of sadhana, this is what he has acquired. He threw you out. He could not accept you. He could not cure you of your evils. He could not tell you that sister, don't do such things. He could not change your mind. What kind of fellow I am keeping? And he just threw that fellow out. Acceptance. Why can't you accept a person the way he is? Why do you want others to change? You want others to change because you are weak. My last sentence would be, friends, that you see, the world loves one and only one thing. As sir was telling, what is the most loved thing? What was the question you had asked? What do we love most? Huh? What is we love most? And he said breath. And what we love most in others? World loves to see the strong squirm. World loves to see the strong weep. World loves to see the strong cry and shed tears. And that's why every time we see that somebody is climbing up, we try to pull him down. Whenever we see somebody who is getting strong, we just try to finish him. And once he is down, we laugh and we love. And see, this is human nature. Because for whatever reason, the world loves to laugh when the strong cry. So if the world is laughing at you, if you are shedding tears and world is laughing, know that somewhere your strength is manifesting. It is your strength that is creating jealousies all around. It is strength that is sending ripples of fear in the minds of others, because you are achieving what others are failing to achieve. So they will try, the world will try its best to pull you down. And if you get pulled down, they will laugh, they will enjoy, because they'll feel that you are one of them. But for you, it is the sign that you are growing. So never worry about failures. Swami Vivekananda says beautifully that many fail on the path of success. It's a wonder that so many succeed. No wonder that so many fail. Because path to goodness is extremely tortuous and difficult. Character has to be established through 1,000 stumbles. If you see somebody stumbling, it simply means that he's walking. If you find somebody shedding tears, it simply means that he's struggling to rise. Because a weak person, he doesn't even shed tears. A beggar, he doesn't shed tears because he didn't get something. It's the rich who, when lose, they shed tears. It's a sign that you have lost your state of strength. So don't worry about these things. This is the real meaning of winning. Have no aggression. Have acceptance. And don't worry, never squirm. Because the world loves that. And if you are shedding tears in silence, it only means that you are growing in strength. So I must end my talk because I have reached the end of the scheduled hour. Now I'll ask you, I'll invite you to ask questions, and any comment or anything that you want. Most welcome.